What we're going to do now is probably the most important part of your presentation. Apart from your opening screen, which we're going to use in a moment, this is called a broadcast, and a broadcast is here. And when you've got to maybe the middle part of your information block in part 1 of your presentation, let's say your boat gets to about here, and you've told another fact or told us something else about your river or whatever it is that you're presenting about, you need to broadcast, because the broadcast is like a telephone call between the sprite and the stage. The stage needs to know when to change. So we're going to call this new, so you just tap on the drop down menu here, and I'm going to call this part 2. So now this phone call, part 2, is going to call the stage, which is in here. So we're going to call it up and go to and call it and tell it to call up the Nile Delta background. So we can do this very easily in our scripts. Make sure you're in your background, in your stage. You must be in your stage now. Okay, so you're calling from your sprite to your stage. When I receive part 2, so you can see that the computer, the commands on the side have said, when I receive part 2, what do you want it to do? It's waiting for the next block. And what we're going to do is change the looks in here, and you can see that looks it's completely different. You don't have all the things down here like you do in your sprite. So in looks you can see there's all this, but in stage there is not. We're going to change switch background for part 2. I'm going to call this, let's go make sure we know which one it is, Nile and Delta. So Nile and Delta, that one there. So let's go to spacebar. It comes up with the text. Then you can read the text, and it should record by now. So you can see that this is working. So I'm going to start talking about the Nile. The Nile is between the Mediterranean Sea and goes through Egypt. I'm going to stop that. So you can see that it's called up part 2 and this picture has appeared. What you can see straight away is that this little test means that you can go and do finishing touches to your backgrounds as well, so you can get rid of the white sides. And now you can also say where this wants to go, or in our next part we're going to show you how to change this sprite. That's it for this part.